Dude, I don't think I've seen you in like 2 years.
It's been a while.
I think since our Baja trip? Maybe?
Oh, longer than that. Glamis, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
I was like watching you drive away. I'm like, is he lost? Or you don't know where the...
I forgot you guys had a real parking lot. Chupacabra Off-Road back in the desert. Everybody say hi to Andrew. He's part of Chupacabra.
what's going on, guys?
We're part of the team, run social media here. And we're back in the desert and it's 115 degrees. We're in El Centro. We're at Coyne Powersports picking up our new cars. I got the gray one. Andrew's got the blue Turbo S 2019 4s. Awesome day, man.
Chupa Turbo Twins coming to you soon.
Yeah, we're gonna load these things up, go back to Andrew's house where it's a little bit cooler and talk some shop. So Andrew, can you help me load this thing up? I think when it comes off the internet, I've got like 2 inches if it's gonna fit in my trailer, so.
Cool. Perfect.
Hey. So here's the low part of my trailer. Oh, you're good, you got it. Easy. We're doing a custom cage and a roof rack, so I'm hoping I don't have any issues when I get it all done. The race car was no big deal, but now that we got this, wasn't near as tight as I thought, so all good. Got the Razor back home in the garage, an amazing feeling. Thanks again to Tierra Del Sol for making this even possible for us here to have another vehicle in our fleet this season. It's gonna be awesome. So, been getting a lot of questions and DMs about, hey, if you're gonna buy a new 4-seater, what would you pick? Most stuff on the internet's all for the 2-seater and everyone argues brand loyalty, blah, blah, blah. But wanted to talk with you guys for a couple minutes about why I chose a Turbo S4 and what my thoughts were. Had it been 2-seater, it would have been an X3 for me. I was really wanting to try a new vehicle. You know, I think about like this vehicle purchase, what made the most sense for what we can do to provide more value to the viewers here on the YouTube channel. And me having a different vehicle would definitely add to that. I've only owned Polaris. But like I said, 2-seater, I would have gone X3. There's some amazing rebates on 2019s. I think the Smart Lock is legit. I love the longer stroke shocks and plenty of horsepower options to get above 172. And I think, honestly, the Can-Am motor and transmission is just flat out better and more powerful. And obviously a lot more aftermarket tuning options than the Razor Turbo. But we're talking 4-seaters. In the Southwest, most of us are running 4-seaters. If you're like me, you've got kids. My littlest guy's just turned 2, so I'm excited to do a lot of family rides. And if you've been following the channel, you know, I love doing a lot of bigger adventurous rides, Baja, Arizona Peace Trail, and then going to Moab for me was a really big deal. I would love to get back. And when I was there, loved how the 4-seat wheelbase just made life a lot easier, a lot less sketchy trying some of those gnarlier obstacles. So I had to go 4-seater just for all these reasons. I love the space, family wagon, etc. So then it comes down to Turbo S Velocity, Turbo S Dynamix, Can-Am X3. Actually, a little twist I was going to put it in is I wanted to try something bad, so different. I got a couple quotes on buying a 2-seat Can-Am X3, stretching it to the same 117-inch wheelbase, which on paper would have been like my dream side-by-side. I think the Can-Am's longer shock stroke, the motor and trans, would have been the perfect wheelbase. So, you know, to touch on wheelbase, that's the main reason why I didn't choose the Can-Am. But I got a price quote from Madigan, who's a really well-known cage builder. We're going to be using a Madigan cage for this build coming up here soon. But their price was pretty reasonable. It's just after dealing with all the drama with my race car of getting down that whole rabbit hole of custom everything, the last thing I wanted to deal with was something that was custom, that we're stretching the wiring harness. I wanted stock, reliable, you know, great performance out of the box, and this is just the magic wheelbase. It just is. Like, you know, I think a lot of you guys would agree with me, and probably a lot of you guys are like me. You'd probably rather get the Can-Am, try something different, but that vehicle is just too long. You know, ultimately this is a toy. I want to have fun with it. I want it to be exciting and nimble. You're already not nimble, you know, as you would be in a 2-seater. And then when you extend it for all the different riding types that I like to do, I can't get over that. You know, it's too much for me. If you watched our Glamis video, we rented one. I spent about 4 hours driving one in the dunes. great power. Really like a lot of things about the car. And I think if you're just mainly a Glamis rat or you're a sand dune guy, especially with model year 2020, a Can-Am is a no-brainer. You know, after seeing the XP Pro come out and less power, no 72-inch options, like, you know, that makes total sense if you really are about the dune life. But I like that, but I like it all. So I try to think about what I'm going to be most happy about 2 years from now. Like I said, all over the Southwest. So couple pros I want to talk about the Can-Am really quick. If you are on the fence, I made a little list right here. So looking at the Can-Am 4-seater, the longer stroke shocks. I love the shock stroke that leads to more suspension travel, tuned properly, better suspension travel, and that thing can really just eat up some whoops. Let's not lie. It's amazing. I think that's definitely a design advantage it's got over the Polaris. Motor and trans, flat out better. Like I said, I think I've heard a lot of good things about the reliability of the transmission in the Can-Am. Had a couple buddies lose some Razor transmissions. I think they use higher quality bearings and components. And we all know these Can-Ams, especially tuned, they really run like a raked ape. So that's definitely a strong point. And then, you know, still better seats. So, you know, a lot of nice fit and finish touches on the Can-Am that Polaris has been lacking until we got to this model, and of course the new XP Pro, which is all redesigned. So a couple of the cons, you know, obviously the wheelbase killed it for me. I really did have a viable option to have Madigan build that 117 car. Like I said, I didn't want to go down the custom rabbit hole. It's really pretty reasonable if you want to go down that. I would encourage checking them out, or I've heard of some other guys in El Centro and other areas doing that. So not out of the question if you really think about it. For as much money as we spend on these things, a lot of guys, if you're going to do a cage and custom doors anyway, it's not that big of a deal. One big detractor I'm hearing too is just the long-term ownership of a Can-Am X3, and that leads to, of course, having to beef up the bulkhead, having to potentially gusset the frame. You know, a lot of guys have had issues with steering racks and bump steer. I've actually recorded video and seen a front end bump steer when it gets off the ground. So it sounds like some people have that issue, some people don't. You know, I know shock therapy, a lot of companies make upgrades to get over these things, but that's more money. And I think what a lot of guys do when they are going with the Max XRS, they end up going with 35-inch tires. Like, look sick, got a lot of ground clearance, but then you're talking about at least a 45-pound tire, which in my opinion is definitely on the heavy side and probably a little bit too much for these vehicles. And you're accelerating the wear of all these things, coupled with some rumors of the X3 having some brakes that aren't up to snuff for that type of thing. You know, wallowing out of the frame. Guys obviously been in radius rods and then beefing up the rear of the car. So that, coupled with also guys saying that the stators don't push a light bar or accessories, near as many accessories as the Polaris does. This dynamic shock vehicle's got a 900 watt stator. So, you know, those type of things, I think you're gonna have to eventually spend more money if you're going all the way up for a fully built XRS. Probably will work better and be a better vehicle, but you know, you're talking upgraded steering racks, $2,000, all these other type of things if you do want to get into the bigger brakes. So, you know, I thought about all of that, and from what I've heard and what I've seen, the Turbo S, like, it really seems like Polaris has learned some valuable lessons, and this car seems to be beefy. And when an OEM is stocking a car with the 44-pound tire stock right off the showroom floor, they've got to make all this stuff hold up. Otherwise, they're going to be dealing with, you know, their flagship model basically until very recently having a lot of issues, having more bad taste in the consumer's mouth. So I love the fact that this car is already clutched and set up. Everything is beefier. The rear radius rods on these things finally are super beefy. The new front differential, also using the RS1, heard nothing but amazing things about it. So to me, it feels like this vehicle, I'm not gonna have to think about a steering rack, worry about gusseting the frame, and even these stock radius rods. Maybe change the uppers because those are always the first to go. But you know, I just feel like it's gonna work better. I've never really had many diff issues. I had one bad one in my 2018 that made a lot of noise. But I think off the showroom floor, without spending a lot of money, the Turbo S for the Southwest is the best car. So That's it, guys. I hope you find value. I hope this gives you a couple things to think about if you're on the fence. There's some great deals on Can-Am 2019s. We're going to link a video in the description. I watched a really cool walk-around video with the guys at Evo going over the 2020 improvements of the Can-Am, and it's impressive. It's not just a little ECU flash, but the bigger intercooler and how they're making the power and how they reclutch the clutching and everything is really impressive. Actually made me want to step up to the 195, even though I'm not a huge horsepower fan. I'm more of a suspension geek. So check that video out. It's very informative. If you're really thinking about going 2020 versus 2019 Can-Am, it'll help you make your decision. You're going to see a full detailed breakdown of this build, the parts that we're going to get into and why. We're going to change up pretty much the tires, cage, doors, adding a radio, heated seats, more lighting, of course. You know, it's going to be awesome. We really set up for some long adventures down in Mexico, Arizona, wherever our trips may take us. So one quick tip, if you're looking at buying a 4-seater here pretty soon, Coyne Powersports has a lot of the 4-seat Velocities with Polaris's rebates and their new price reduction. It's an amazing deal. I want to say they're under $22,000 before fees. So honestly, if I had not won a free vehicle and had the head start, I probably would have gone with that, because now you're talking $6,500 roughly cheaper than the Dynamix. It's really compelling. I think that's the best bang for the buck. I mean, dealers are going to only have inventory probably until Sand Show. So if you're really thinking about buying, call Coyne, just because they've got the most, and I think that's a stellar deal. It's a great builder car, and you're getting all the beefy, important stuff that I just went over. So hope that helps you guys. And finally, Can-Am guys, sorry, I really wanted to buy a Can-Am. I really wanted to try something different. You know, we're not really that biased, but you know, we think at this moment in time, for me especially, Turbo S is where it's at. We'll for sure own a Can-Am in the future and other of the competitors' vehicles. It's an exciting time in the industry. Super excited about what Kawasaki's about to unveil. My first ever dirt bike was the Cowie, so I got a soft spot. I hope they come out with something that's a turbo that's exciting for us in the Southwest. Thanks again for watching. If you guys like this content, please like and subscribe, and we've got a lot more coming your way.